everybody's having a good day today. I'm going to explain to everybody exactly why me and a lot of other people stay single these days. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions, and just about all of them are correct. And it's the same way that I feel. I agree with just about everybody that I've talked to who chooses to remain single. At some point or another, you gotta sit back and think, what is the purpose? What is the point of it? Because it seems like people today, both men and women, they are both out for blood when it comes to a relationship and when it comes to being with somebody. There's no true love aspect anymore. It's all about what you can do to benefit the other person. And I just don't want to play that game. And I don't want to play the game of constantly being compared to somebody else that they might have dated in the past. That's another big issue, is they compare you to their previous exes. And men and women are both guilty of this. I'm not putting blame on either one of them. I mean, it's a problem in our world today. These girls, just like back in the day, I guess it's just one of them things. These girls are naturally attracted to the bad boy. They're attracted to the person who could care less about them, and it's been that way ever since the beginning of time, as far as I'm concerned. When you constantly compare someone to someone else, they're going to get just a little tired of it. And that's kind of where I'm at. But there's all these little things, and then some, for me. And my main concern is, whenever I don't talk to people, and I'm not talking about just relationships in this video, I'm talking about friendships too. I don't have a lot of friends, and there's a reason for that as well. The people that I call friends are my friends. They are people who want nothing but my company from time to time, and they don't want anything from me, exactly. I can typically sniff that out pretty fast if that's something that I feel like they're doing. I can sniff it out pretty fast, and then when I call it out, that's whenever the problems start. That's when the drama starts, and blah blah. But I can go to my property where I'm going to be living, hopefully soon, and I can sit there all day long and not talk to anyone, and I'll be so at peace in my mind. It's not even funny. I will be so at peace with the entire world by the time that I decide I have to go back home. I actually feel good about having to go back home. I don't like it where I live. It gives me anxiety. It gives me stress. It's terrible. And relationships are the same way to me. Just thinking about trying to get into a relationship with somebody and trying to tell them all the things about me and listening to all the things about them, a lot of times it's a waste of time. I just don't think that there's somebody out there for me that fits my narrative and fits my lifestyle. Now, my lifestyle right now is more technologically centered, because I like doing YouTube, but that's really the only thing that I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy making YouTube, and I really want to do that. But I don't have to have a phone plan to do that. And the woman for me, I just don't feel like is out there. And what I mean by that is, I want somebody who doesn't deal with social media and, you know, the bad apps, like the old relationship killer Snapchat. That's what I call it, the relationship killer. Snapchat, you know, Facebook, everything. You know, I have Facebook. I don't deal with Snapchat. I've had TikTok. I just don't like those apps. So, you know, Facebook is the only one that I get on, and it don't work for me half the time. So I don't even really bother. I just use Marketplace, and that's about it. And most people, I've noticed, will have my cell phone number, and instead of texting me, they'll call me on Facebook Messenger. And I'm thinking, why do you do that? Why do you go to Facebook to call me when you have my phone number? But all of that's going to be changing when I move to this property. When I move to this property, I'm turning the phones off. I might have a TV with a video game. I'm not driving anything newer. I'm driving what I drive or older. I don't want all of this frustration that's coming with this new world. And people are falling right into all this new world crap that I don't want no part of. And relationships and friendships, it's all based on, you know, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? And in a lot of cases, and I know this is not every case, but this is like bad relationship, you know, bad love life story from me. This is not a game, you know, that I want to play. It's not a game to me. Love is not a game. I feel like love is something that it makes a person want to do better and want to try harder at things in life, because you want to do better for that other person. Now, the only person that I really truly feel like I love is my son. That is the one person on this earth that I feel like I really love, and I really do. I would do anything for that kid. But I'm also wanting to teach my kid that you don't have to have the nicest of everything. As long as you got a roof over your head and food to eat, and you're warm in the winter, and you're cool in the summer, that's all that's going to matter in the end, because we're just here to live and die. And people want to take what I'm saying and mistake it for me talking down to people who enjoy all these other apps. I just don't personally want somebody who deals with Snapchat, who deals with all this social media, especially if they shake their butt on the internet with booty shorts on and like basically no clothing on. I just don't want that in my life. And women have been objectified, and I know I'm gonna lose a lot of merits from the men on this one, but men have objectified women so much that they feel now that if somebody doesn't do that, then there must be something wrong with them. And I've seen that so many times, it's insane. You get with somebody and you don't touch them, you don't try to do anything with them in a biblical way, and they break up with you and they say, well, it's just, you didn't really have anything to do with me. And I'm thinking, well, there is more to this than that. And they don't know what to think about it. They just seem to think that I am some fake kind of person that's just telling them what they want to hear, or just don't want nothing to do with them because I'm not attracted to them. That's not the case. The case is I don't really bother with stuff like that. There's more things to be doing. There's more things out there in the world that's going to be a lot more fulfilling that I could be doing. And that takes a toll, because the women like the bad boys, and the bad boys do women that way. And then when they get somebody good, they don't know how to take it. They don't know if it's a trap or what. And I've seen a lot of women destroy men over the same thing. I've seen it so much. I come from a broken home. Now my son lives in a broken home. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting into, in my opinion. And if I don't see you as the marrying kind, I just don't really want to mess with you. And what I find the marrying kind is somebody who will lay down the social media, somebody who will stay off of that crap, somebody who wants a simple life like I'm fixing to set up for myself, with not a lot of technology, not a lot of debt, not a lot of bills, yada yada. Just a simple, easygoing life. And it just doesn't exist. Every person that you get with is comparing you to her ex-boyfriend who had the 2500 HD Silverado, and I drive a little Ford Explorer, so apparently I'm less of a man than him. No, that's not the case. I just am not as materialistic as him. I do not see the point in driving around a diesel 2500 HD Silverado every single day when I'm just going to the store to get groceries. I don't understand the philosophy behind it. I don't understand people's thinking on that. I like having practical things that I use for practical purposes. This Ford Explorer goes like a tank in the snow, and well, it rides on the highway really, really good. And that's why I wanted it. It's got the V8 in it. It's got plenty of power to get out of its own way. It's just a good little all-around vehicle. I can pull trailers. I can work with it if I need to. It's white, so it's industrial. Well, I shouldn't say industrial. I should say commercial. If I decided to pull around some lawnmowers or something and mow grass, this thing's going to get looked at. It's white. I could put a full banner on the side. I look at practicality. I don't look at, ooh, this is bigger than her ex's truck, so I'm going to buy it. I have to have something nicer than he had to impress her. I've been there. I'm not doing it anymore. I was in a relationship with a girl that loved me for exactly who I was. Old redneck country boy who didn't have any debt, and I drove a beat all to pieces 1989 Ford F-150 with the 302 in it and a 5-speed. It had a set of mud tires on it, 33-inch, and it was a good truck. It was a really, really good truck. Like I said, it was kind of rough around the edges. It was a bit rusty, but the frame was good and solid, and it drove good on the highway. If you could, get over the slack in the steering. It had a lot of slack in the steering, but when you get used to that, it's just like driving a brand new Corvette. You just got to get used to whatever you're driving, and that's in any case. But, when I got with her, I said, you know, this girl went to college and everything else. She could be a nurse if she wanted to be. I'm gonna go buy myself a Silverado, that's what I bought. I went and bought myself a Silverado, and then I bought my house that I now owe way too much money on because I got her a car that she didn't need. But in order for me to get her a car, I had to refinance my house, pay off 2 of my trucks that I had financed at the time, and then take the better of the 2 and trade it in on her vehicle. And I did that, and I didn't look at the long-term problems that was going to cause. See, she used that vehicle to move away, and I mean, we had a mutual agreement that this wasn't working out. You know, it was coming to an end anyway. But she did not ask me for that vehicle. I did that out of the kindness of my heart, and well, I regret it now. I regret it really bad now, because now I'm pretty much getting forced to sell my house. And you know the whole story. I told y'all this story before on my channel. But back to the relationships and friendships, it's just not my thing. You see, I can go down here to my property, which is where I'm going now, and I can sit here and literally watch deer. I can watch the wildlife. I can listen to squirrels fight. I can listen to just nature. And when it gets dark, there's a creek not far away, and the bullfrogs. Oh, it's just peaceful. But I have noticed that every time I bring somebody new into my life, it is constant drama. I mean, absolutely constant drama of some kind. And it's not even to do with me. It's not to do with them. It's about somebody that I don't know, that I don't care about, and that's all I hear about. And I get it, I guess, if I'm the only person you're really comfortable to talk to, but I don't care. You know, I am one of them people that just don't have any remorse for a lot of people, and I just don't care what's going on in their life. I just don't. But the problem lies whenever you tell people that. Whenever you're straight up honest and you tell people, like, listen here, I don't concern myself with other people's problems. I have problems of my own that I'm trying to work out, and I can't sit and worry about someone else's. That's their problem to work out. I've got my own problem to work out. I'm in the process of trying to sell my house. That's a fixer-upper house. I'm in the process of trying to get my little cabin put down here on my property and create the life that I've wanted and that I've dreamed about ever since I was 12 years old, that got completely pushed away and pushed to the side for material objects when I got in a relationship. This is not the time for me to get into a relationship. And the way I see it is, when I set my life up the way that I want my life set up, and then somebody comes into my life and absolutely loves every second of it, that's when I'm gonna know that that's my person. Because I want somebody who's simple and not materialistic, just like me. Somebody who loves nature and loves being off by themselves and not talking to people. Because I am a hermit, and I need a hermit. But I don't know if that is a feasible thing. I've heard people say it, and I believe it also, that the person that I want don't exist. And, you know, if that's the case, I am just fine by myself with my son. That's going to give me more time to spend with my son if I'm not trying to date somebody. And there's just all kinds of benefits to being alone and being single. The problems that you have in your life are your problems, and nobody's going to be standing there in your ear telling you what you need to do and this and that and the other. You deal with things on your own accord. Like me, I got up this morning, I've been doing a carnivore diet just as well as I can. Well, I got up this morning and made me some eggs and bacon, and I didn't wash the pot until I got home. I decided I wanted some ramen noodles. I cheated and made some chicken flavored ramen noodles because I'm literally broke right now and can't afford nothing else. So I had ramen noodles. I cooked them. I cleaned the pot, or I cleaned the pan. I cooked them, and then I cleaned all the dishes and put them all up. And you know, I did that on my own time. I didn't have to worry about somebody jumping my bones because I've got dishes in the sink and I've dirtied this up or I've dirtied that up. I can walk into my house and or my little cabin down here someday with my muddy boots on and be filthy from being out working doing something, and nobody's gonna scream at me other than myself like, hey, stupid, sweep that up, you know. And I usually wait for the mud to dry. If you want the truth, I usually wait for it to dry because it's easier to sweep up. Occasionally I'll mop. But, you know, I'm just a man. You know, men are not cleanly people oftentimes. I like things having their place and having their purpose. And I'm a bit OCD about certain things. Like, if my vehicle is not parked the way that I want it parked, I will keep repositioning it until I get it put right where I want it. I'm weird like that. But when it comes to a little bit of mud in the floor, I'm not too worried about that. My house is lived in, and that's all there is to it. Howdy, neighbor. So, I'm going to come my butt down here and spend some time on my property, and I hope everybody's enjoyed this ramble, whatever you want to call it. And maybe there's some like-minded people out there. Hell, maybe there's a woman out there that thinks the same way I think. Either way, we'll talk to you all later, and I'm gonna jump right off here, and goodbye.